Board's regular meeting for Wednesday, June 16th, 2020 at 7 p.m. Roll call, Manager Silka.
Commissioner Stump.
Here.
Commissioner Atwood.
Here.
Commissioner Blasco. Commissioner Blasco. Is he on?
I can hear something.
I'll come back.
Brian, are you there?
I am here, yes.
Okay. Commissioner Zona.
Here.
Commissioner Bevan.
Here.
Commissioner Goss.
Here.
Commissioner Higas.
Here. Could everyone please stand and rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for a moment of silence? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. If any residents would like to speak tonight, could you please sign the book at the podium? Thank you. You have one resident tonight, Brian. If you want to come to the podium and state your name and address for the record, please.
My name is Brian Richard Charney, live at 2616 Robin Station Road, North Huntington, PA.
And then you can express any type of concern or address your issues.
Yeah, I have a concern. I had reached out to township engineer and zoning and planning. There's a development subdivision being built behind my house on Veronica Lane, approximately, I believe, maybe 8 houses or so. And dirt, mud, and debris from those properties are coming down through my property. I have a swell on my property, 2 French drains. It's going past that into my swimming pool and ponding up on my back porch. And the response was, it's my financial responsibility to divert that water from my property. I have a few pictures here if you guys would like to see.
Yeah, if you want to bring them up, we can share them. Thanks.
Some of them are just of a pool, some are from the properties where you can see the mounds of dirt coming down through. One's of my porch underwater, one's of the porch without the bar off, so you can see the difference. And the thing too is, when they were being built, like, this is not what I want to do. Like, I don't want to be that neighbor or that citizen that complains. But during the construction, there was construction materials blowing in my yard. Did 0 damage to my yard. I just went and cleaned it up. I didn't say anything to the neighbors. I didn't contact the township because it didn't do any damage. Like I said, property damage, or, I have quite a big expense of an investment in that backyard, being told now that I have to invest more money to fix it.
Right. You have anything else for us tonight, sir?
Beyond that, it's flooded my barn and now starting to wash out my driveway as well.
Okay.
Those items aren't 10 feet from my house, where now I'm worried about water coming into my basement and stuff like that as well. So that's all I have to say.
All right.
Thank you
Thanks.
for your time.
Response to citizens input.
I have-
You guys, I was going to say, go ahead.
Okay.
I think this complaint did come to us, I believe, this week. Bob has been working on it. There are some problems with the development's ENS. He's having them increase their ENS controls. There's some silt sock for temporary ENS during the construction. And, we are waiting basically for the grass to take in and to get that surface up. So, the different ENS controls are being put on. Bob is aware of it, and he is working with the developer, and I'll have him work a little bit more closely with the homeowner to make sure we can get a resolution.
What are we going to do with clearly he's already sustained damage. I mean,
Well, my advice, it's not township water, it's not a township pipe. If there'd be recourse for financials, it would be towards the developer.
okay. Okay.
And he certainly could take his claim to the small claims court.
This would be a civil matter then.
Yeah, the district judge.
Yeah, if you want to come back, it's usually not a back and forth, but I mean, if you want to come back and say, no, it's fine.
There is a pipe coming off that road where when it rains, it just gushes right out. I don't know when that pipe was installed on that road or not, but shoots down off that side of Veronica towards Robin Station Road. I do have a lawyer on retainer and he looked over the city ordinances, things of that nature. He's given me the steps to take. First, contact the township. Next is here. The other one is Westmoreland County, or City District Development.
Conservation District?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No.
The next is media, and then unfortunately, I don't want to take it to this step, but yes, civil lawsuit.
Thanks.
And I do have money, and I've purchased pumps now, to put behind to help alleviate that. I don't want that money back. I just want it addressed. That's all.
Any other board response?
I have a question, maybe Ryan, you can help me with this. Is there anything in the developers are required to do to mitigate the water or anything like that while they're developing?
Yeah, this plan was approved with on-lot stormwater systems, individual on each lot. So the engineer, Bob Robinson, and I think a combination of Paul Christner, when he was here, reviewed those systems, as did the Conservation District. So when the builder's installing those systems, we inspect on site to ensure that they're being put in properly. But it's also the responsibility of each builder and the developer to put the erosion controls in on each lot. But as Jeff said, I mean, we have had some heavy rain events over the last week or so. So if those silt socks or the silt fences aren't installed properly and the grass hasn't taken yet, then you're going to get some sheet flow down that hill.
Do we have any plans to send anyone out to take a look at those drainage, to make sure they're not clogged or anything like that, that we can maybe help?
Bob Robinson and Tom McGuire were out this week to look at it too. So I think Bob's still doing some investigating.
Great, thank you.
Anything else? All right, thanks. Approval of meetings minutes for the special meeting 5/13/2020.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor by state and I.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion approved, 7-0. For the regular meeting 5/19/2021.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor by state and I.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion approved, 7-0. Payment of bills.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion approved, 7-0. Staff reports, Public Works report, Director Albert. Anything to add to your report tonight, sir?
Again, we're working diligently to continue on our road program, getting all these roads for the contractor to come in for the paving. Everything's going as planned. Hopefully, we'll be able to give them the letter to proceed here shortly. Few little setbacks with the weather here lately is obviously that we've had a lot of trees dying and some flooding concerns, but we're working as the best we can to address as many of these concerns as possible. But other than that, everything's going fine, and weather's been great. We've been able to make some good progress, so I'm quite pleased with that.
Thanks. Any questions on Public Works? Thank you. Park and Recreations, Director Miller. Anything to add to your report tonight?
If you'll allow me, I do have one thing to add this evening. Several months ago, a young man came before you to inform all of you about an Eagle Scout project that he had been working on. That project was identified and developed with the help of the Eagle Scout through the Department of Parks and Recreation. I'm here tonight to tell you, proudly here to tell you, that that project is complete. That same young man, Shane Hornachak, asked me tonight to express thanks to all of you for your support of that project. He wanted me to include all of the commissioners that supported the project, but specifically Commissioner Goss, who was there to help labor, Commissioner Zona, who was there to help labor, Commissioner Atwood, who was there to help labor, and also former Commissioner and resident Rich Gray, who was also there to help labor. He also asked me to express thanks to Bruce Dyson Associates for his contribution to the project. And that same young man, Shane Hornachak, who's asked me to express that thanks to you tonight, could not be here because he is presenting to the Boy Scout Conference this evening that project that he is very proud of. So this truly was an Eagle Scout project that a lot of you got behind and supported. I believe that it is a major contribution to our Lions Park upgrade. And this morning, Assistant Manager Mike Turley and myself met with Shane Hornachak and his dad. We reviewed the project. We debriefed on the project, and again, I'm happy to say that we've signed off on the project and the project is complete. Now what we will look to do is probably mid-July, we would like to set up a small ribbon ceremony where we can dedicate that bridge, put a nice plaque on it to recognize the young man who helped out, Mr. Hornachak, and then we can officially open the bridge to the public, although it is open, but I think it'll be a nice formal exercise. Again, a lot of you, Brian Blasco, I think, forgive me, I didn't mean to omit Brian, I didn't see him here tonight, I know he's on the phone. Brian, Jason, Ron, Mr. Gray, I know that you've all been involved in scouting for a number of years, so these types of projects probably a little bit closer to your heart, but again, on behalf of Shane Hornachak, I wanted to express thanks to all of the board for their support of the project.
Thanks.
I think, I'm sure I can speak for Eric and Ron and everyone else, but this was also a project that we were proud to have been behind. It was very well planned, very well executed, and is just a great asset to our parks. And we thank him for the idea, and we thank you for, Dan, and your staff for helping encourage it. And, you know, we just ask, anybody else has any ideas, we're more than happy to help any other scouts or any, anyone who has any civic organization. We're more than glad to support them as they try to make our community better as well.
Well, thank you, and I'll relay that to Shane. This truly was a labor of love. When Mr. Turley and I met this morning and we looked at the recap of the project, which Shane had asked us to sign off on, this project was about a $6,000 cost. There was $3,000 of material, roughly about $3,000 of labor, and Mike and I talked this morning, and we as a township could not have gotten this project done by a private contractor for that kind of money. So again, Mike, I don't know if you have anything you want to add. You were instrumental there this morning, so.
No, I think it accomplished what we hoped to. It's an excellent project. It really provides for a nice entrance. It has the real appearance of a bridge, and essentially is. And I really like the way he really learned a lot through how to develop a project. We spent months looking at different options. We had some really grandiose plans with an arch and different things, and we ended up doing something that was very functional and practical and elegant too. And it has some bulky 4x4 posts to it to give it a bridge strength look, and it has some really elegant lines to it with the cables through it too, implying like a cable stay little structure. And it has a balance of some things that really worked out very well that you may not realize, but subtly you'll get that feel when you walk through there. It's a grand entrance through a bridge type appearance, so it worked out real well. And I wanted to, that's what we wanted to accomplish with it, to improve the whole entrance there. And Dan hit on this, that I think he had $3,000 at least in direct costs, materials and costs, but I think he calculated it $10 or $11 an hour. He had 300
hours.
He put 300 hours into this, but if we were paying somebody to do this, it would be many thousands more than that. But I think the dollar amount doesn't fully capture the value. There's a real aesthetic, some community participation, and it has a value beyond the thousands that we try to put the cost to. So it's a high value project for the park, I think.
So just in conclusion, again, keep your eyes and ears open on your mail packets. I'll get something out to all of you to invite you to the ribbon ceremony and the dedication.
Thanks.
Thank you.
If I may, I think it's so important to be putting these plaques in place. I think the community needs to see the activities of the Scouts, and anybody that is willing to beautify North Huntington Township, they should receive the recognition that they so deserved. Shane did a beautiful job, and so did all the other scouts that were with him. Kudos to all of them and to their dads that were there and their moms, and it was just it was a fun day Saturday to hang out with those guys and do some heavy labor, and it just, my God, it felt great. But the plaque, I would really like for us to, in the future, really start thinking about putting, every time somebody does something, we should put a plaque up. Because it lets the citizens of this community realize there are people that are acting on behalf of their good conscience in this society. And those people should be recognized for that. That's all I have to say.
Thanks. Thank you, Director Miller. Police report, Chief Rizzo.
Nothing on the report, but I did want to bring the board up to speed. We just completed day 3 of 5 for the Junior Police Academy today. So it filled up. I told you early on when we had my presentation that we were going to keep it modest this year, but I think we filled all 25 spots, and it's going well. Today they were on the river with the river rescue crews next door, and I was down there shuttling the young men and women, young girls back and forth, and they had a great time today. And K-9 was on Tuesday, and I think ERT is coming up. So it's going very, very well for the small group that we have. And then they're already talking about plans of expanding it next year and getting bigger. And so far so good. So 2 more days to go. We're finishing up Friday.
Thanks. Any questions for the chief tonight?
Chief, would you let us know when graduation is, and do we have an invitation for all of us to attend?
Yes. It's probably going to be around 2 o'clock on Friday, but I'll get an email out to the board and let you know. It'll be at Oak Hollow Park, and I'll let you all know. So I'll be up there tomorrow morning. I'll talk to Officer Dandrick. I'll get a little bit more information on graduation, and I'll put it out.
All right, thanks.
You're welcome. I should have put that out. Thank you.
Emergency manager report. Anything tonight?
Hi there. First of all, let me say, Chief Rizzo, great to see that you resurrected both the Citizens Police Academy and the Junior Academy, 2 great programs. And I know you've been there for a long time to see them come from scratch all the way to what they've begun.
Well, we're starting small again. So.
That's the way. How do you eat an elephant? 1 bite at a time. That's the way to do it. Nonetheless, that's the same way I'm looking at the emergency management. Emergency management, about a month ago, we tried to do a project, and it didn't go because we didn't realize that our equipment had some failures. We're working on that. Unfortunately, there was a couple setbacks. One of my staff members had a heart attack, and tonight you're accepting his resignation. He cannot, Jeff West, he can't move on. A second one is relocating to Arizona. That was my training guy. So what comes in the coming months, we're going to reassign some people some assignments and structure even stronger. By August, I look for the team to have direction, and you will have everything in that regard. And I'm hoping to still do the scenario by August to incorporate all forms of public safety, just to get us acclimated to everybody that's on the team and know that we exist and we do what we do. But everything's doing good. The training's doing good, and that's what I'm big on. We have to train our guys. We've got a lot of guys who's been there for a while, and they've been through training. But they've been through training throughout the years through the FEMA stuff, and that's all on computers. Well, you're talking to a guy who's been through a lot of college, okay? And I graduated the last college in 03, and this is 2021. I mean, you sit down, you don't remember everything if you don't use it, and that's why I'm trying to get everything in use and implemented through the public. But we're doing good, and things are getting stronger, and things are looking good, and I appreciate your support. Thank you.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't want to embarrass him, but happy birthday, brother man, to you and your twin sister.
Thank you. She's better looking, don't worry.
I hope so.
I got the right to be 13 minutes older.
Well, happy birthday to both of you.
8 inches taller, which I'm really thankful for. Thank you. Have a great day.
Planning and zoning, anything on the fire officials report tonight? Not subdivision land development, Director Fonzie?
Yes, there's 3 items set for your approval tonight. The first is Site Plan 2 of 2021, the urban properties site plan. I'm requesting board action to approve this major land development.
Motion to approve.
Second?
Discussion. All those in favor by state and I.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion approved, 7-0.
The second item is Site Plan 4 of 2021, the Legacy Place multi-tenant building, requesting board action to approve.
Motion to approve. Second.
Discussion. All those in favor by state and I.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion approved, 7-0.
And lastly, I have Subdivision 13 of 2021, the Willow Estates Phase 4, Lot 4143 consolidation, requesting board action to approve this consolidation.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion.
Is this the one with the cell tower that we talked about? Okay, I just wanted to make sure before we moved on.
Any other discussion? All those in favor by state and I.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion approved, 7-0.
And that's all I have. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Solicitor's report?
Yes, there's no action items tonight to act upon.
Thank you. Township Manager's report, Manager Silka.
Okay, thank you, Mr. President. I do have a few items for board consideration. First is action to approve the May check register.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor by state and I.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion approved, 7-0.
The May 2021 budget report is provided for your review. The next is action to approve a separation from employment and resolution of heart and lung benefits for Edwin Anthony.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor by state and I.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion approved, 7-0.
The next is action to approve the advertisement of an ordinance amending ordinance 2244, tobacco use in parks by adding a fine section consistent with the first-class township code.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Discussion.
Jeff, would you read up on that? Would you explain to the good people out there what that is? Do we have a?
Sure.
Please.
Basically, in 2019, I believe, we passed an ordinance banning the use of tobacco products in our parks and recreation areas. However, now, as we get complaints on it, there's no enforcement mechanism other than asking the people to politely leave. So if they don't leave, we have no recourse other than basically to have the police officers escalate the situation to provide a trespass or a public disturbance type issue to get them out of the park. So what this would do is the first-class township code allows first-class townships to issue fines up to $600 for ordinance violations. So this will incorporate that language into that allow the police to write citations if they need be.
Will these parks have signs that let people know that in advance?
These signs, the parks are signed pretty well right now. I mean, I think if we'd add more signs, we'd probably be in a point of diminishing returns and sign pollution.
Okay. I just want to make sure that they were out there already. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Any other board discussion? I have a motion and a second. All those in favor by state and I.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion approved, 7-0.
Next is action to approve the advertisement of an ordinance prohibiting through traffic in the Townhouse parking lot.
Motion to approve. Second.
Discussion. All those in favor by state and I.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion approved, 7-0.
Next is action to contact Penndot to request no left turn signs be posted for the intersections of Route 30 and Cherry Lane, Soltis Lane, and Schrader Lane due to inadequate sight distance.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Discussion.
So just to make sure, we're talking two left turns. One left turn would be westbound, the other left turn would be eastbound. Is that correct?
No.
Or is, okay, which one is it?
It would be westbound left turns, crossing traffic to go westbound
Okay, very
on
good.
the 3 lanes.
Okay, roger that.
Any other board discussion? All those in favor by saying an aye.
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 Opposed?
I'll abstain.
All right. Motion passes 6-0, one abstain.
Next is action to approve a request from St. Agnes Church to erect a banner on Route 30 at Township Center from July 26th through August 10th.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor by saying an aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0.
Next is action to approve a request from the Pennswood Civic Association for fireworks on July 4th, 2021.
Motion to approve, please.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor by saying an aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion approved 7-0.
Next is action to approve the release of the grading bond for Cleveland Price, 14,000 Route 993, Trafford, 15085, the amount of $145,000 upon the recommendation of the interim township engineer.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor by stating an aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion approved 7-0.
Next is action to approve the release of the performance bond for Lincoln Corner Incorporated in its entirety upon the recommendation of the interim township engineer.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion.
I have a question.
Jack, I have, go ahead.
Go ahead, Brian, you first.
Yeah, I have one concern, and again, as we just talked last week about the beautification of Route 30, this includes the landscaping of all along Route 30 for that project, because above the retaining wall, I believe it looks pretty good, but from the retaining wall down to Route 30 and Thompson Lane there, it's a lot of weed growth, overgrowth. I'm not sure, is that anything that we can hold them to for this performance bond release or not?
Actually, this is the remaining $12,000 as we are waiting for as-built plans. The landscaping plan has already been approved and released.
Okay.
But what we can do is we can contact the developer and ask them, to spruce that up a little bit.
Okay, thank you, Jeff.
I'd just like to comment that I'm still opposed to that because of the road condition there.
Thompson Lane is actually on our paving he's on the paving program this year, so that's going to be taken care of.
Even so, if it is being on the paving program, a lot of the road deterioration, I feel, is due to the large amount of trucks that have been going through there. The condition of North Thompson Lane, since that's been built, has been horrendous. I do think it is because of the building, and I'd like to see maybe we can possibly recoup some of that cost.
I may be wrong, but I believe one of the reasons that wasn't bonded, because we were waiting to do that until that project was done. So it was anticipated to have that road tore up, and it was put, backed up in the paving program to allow for that construction.
Any other board discussion?
Jeff, is there a maintenance bond in place?
Oh, yes, yeah, there'll be a 15-month maintenance bond.
So to Brian's point, under the maintenance bond, we may be able to get them to, use your word, spruce it up.
Yeah.
So we'll endeavor to look at that.
Yes, once we release this bond, then it'll be replaced with the maintenance bond, and we do have that part. Thank you.
Any other discussion? All those in favor by stating an aye.
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 Opposed?
Nay.
No.
Roll call vote. Manager Silka.
Commissioner Stump,
No.
Commissioner Atwood,
No.
Commissioner Blasco,
Yes.
Commissioner Zona,
Yes.
Commissioner Bevan,
Yes.
Commissioner Goss,
No.
Commissioner Hygus.
Yes. Motion passes 4-3.
Okay, the next item is action to accept the resignation of Janet Solomon from the Parks and Recreation Board.
Motion to accept.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor by stating an aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion approved 7-0.
Action to accept the resignation of Jeffrey West from the Emergency Management Committee.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion approved, 7-0.
Next is action to hire Aaron Bowen for the seasonal position of park laborer at the budgeted rate conditioned upon successful pre-employment drug and alcohol testing.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor by state and I.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion approved, 7-0.
Action to hire Christopher Costa for the seasonal position of park laborer at the budgeted rate conditioned upon successful pre-employment drug and alcohol testing.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor by state and I.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion approved, 7-0.
Action to hire Aiden McLaughlin for the seasonal position of park laborer at the budgeted rate conditioned upon successful pre-employment drug testing and alcohol testing.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor by state and I.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion approved, 7-0.
I do have two additional items that were not placed on the agenda for consideration for action this evening. One is an easement reduction for Bill Viola at 12421 St. Nikolai Drive, and the second is the appointment of Paul Diggleman to the Parks and Recreation Board.
I just have a motion to add those to the agenda.
Motion to add both items to the agenda.
And I'll second that.
Discussion. All those in favor to adding those items onto the agenda state aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion approved to add items onto the agenda. If any residents would have any comment on either of these items, they can speak at this time. I'm not seeing any. Go ahead, Jeff, with the first one.
Okay, first is action to approve an easement reduction for Bill Viola at 12421 St. Nikolai Drive.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Discussion. Jeff, could you just give a quick overview? So that we're just reducing the easement on this so they could, I believe, put a in-ground pool in the back?
Yes, for some reason, when this lot was developed, the storm sewer easement was put into a 33-foot easement, which is basically a road easement, not a utility easement. So what this is doing is reducing the easement 13 feet to 20 feet, and the pipe is well within the easement, and then he can put his pool on the lot.
How much room is he requesting from previous to now?
Well, it's going from 33 feet to 20 feet, which is the standard utility easement. We get 10 feet on each side of the pipe.
Any other discussion? I have a motion and a second. All those in favor by saying an aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion approved, 7-0.
Second is action to appoint Paul Diggleman to the vacant term for the Parks and Recreation Board.
I'll make that a motion to appoint.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor by saying an aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion approved, 7-0.
That is all I have this evening.
All right, thank you, Jeff. Any further board comments tonight?
Yeah, I would. I'd like to go back and just advise or tell everybody to Jeff West. We heard what Bob had to say, and man, we got you in our prayers tonight, brother. Get well. Thank you.
Thanks. Anything else from the board? Other than that, I just need a motion.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor by saying an aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Meeting adjourned at 7:33.